Just a quick lesson on addresses. Now, when I say addresses, I just mean where the cell or range of cells is located. If I have A1 highlighted in the name box, it's going to show up as A1. Say I want to go to A10,000. I can type in the name box and hit enter, and it warps me there. If I get lost in my spreadsheet all the way down here, XFD, blah, 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 I can type in A1, enter, to get back to the beginning. Now, the name box can do a lot more powerful things. I have this spreadsheet called Table Practice you can download, and it's going to cover addresses, name manager, and some other things we're going to do. First thing I want to show you is that this group of data I've made here looks a lot like a table, isn't technically a table. It's just words and numbers with borders around them. Tables, more technically, we'll get to in the next lesson. But let's say that I wanted to call this group of data something other than B2 through I10, right? So what I can do is highlight that group, go up here to Formulas, Name Manager, click on New, and name it something like groceries data. Groceries being the name of the spreadsheet we're on, it's going to refer to it as that sheet. That's what the exclamation point there means. Grocery sheet, B2 through I10. I'm going to hit OK. And it tells me the syntax isn't right. So let's explore this. It looks like we cannot have a space. So the problem being we need to put a underscore instead in between groceries and data. Now that we've done that, I can click OK. And we've officially given a name to that range of data. So what good does this do us? Let's say we're in a big spreadsheet with a lot of named ranges and we just want to get to groceries. We can go to the name box, hit the drop down and go to groceries data. It automatically highlights our entire range. And what's great is that you don't even have to go to name manager and hit edit. You can simply highlight what you want to make a named range, go up here and simply type prices. Now when I go to the drop down, I have groceries data and prices. So what good does that do? Well, if we're dealing with a lot of data, maybe on a regular basis, and we want to get the sum of all the prices, instead of highlighting this range of data where I get this answer, I can easily type sum and I put price is, and it's actually available now in the suggested text. At this point I can hit enter. Look, it's given me the sum of all the prices. Again, it ignores cost being the title. A very useful way to use named ranges when you're doing a formula or a group of formulas in a big spreadsheet and you want to be able to write it more efficiently. So feel free to download the table practice and play around with it. Tables. As I said before, this is not technically a table, it's a range. So we want to make this a table. What that means in Excel, I'm going to highlight it, go to Format as Table, and then pick whatever layout I want. I'm partial to blue, I'm going to put that there. It assumes the first row is headers. All tables in Excel have headers. I'm going to click OK, and it's done it for me. It's already put auto filters on each of the headers. And what you'll find is tables just being another way to store data in Excel. It does offer some bits of convenience, but normally when I'm in a table, it's usually a table somebody else has created on a spreadsheet. So what you'll find is that if you go to Name Manager at this point, Formulas, Name Manager, you'll see Table 2. I'm going to rename this. You don't have to name it anything, but I'm going to name it grocery underscore table. And hit OK. So when you go to your name box, it does the same thing a named range does, except it excludes the headers. Another thing, if you're going to add to this table, it's something that's easy to do. If you simply click on the cell next to it, and let's say we want to put city. Once I hit enter, It automatically tacks on to the end of the table and makes another column that terminates right where this does. So I wanted to expand the table down. So what you find is you don't have the same effect when you're trying to type additional things in the rows. So how do we make the list grow? We go to the name box, click on grocery table, and then hover our cursor until it's in the bottom right hand corner and just a solid cross. I can expand this down. And from here it appears to have populated some random data. We don't have to go to the name manager. If I highlight it up here, it knows that I've highlighted the grocery table. I'm just going to continue this down further. And Excel is just telling me that it's going to shift the cells if it overlaps anything. And look, it's again populated with some random data, which you can always delete. So I'm going to highlight this and delete it, and feel free to put in something else. So if you have a bunch of blank spaces and you want to shrink your table, it's actually more difficult. You can't just shrink it this way. What you actually have to do is take this portion of the table you want to delete, highlight it, right click, delete columns, table columns, and it's done it for you. So this same thing with rows, highlight the rows you want to delete, right click, delete, table rows. There you go. Let's say you wanted the amount available. So you wanted it right below that. Let's say I just wanted the sum of all costs like I did in the earlier lesson equals sum, and I can type the name of the table, which is grocery table, then put in brackets cost. Close the brackets, and this is referred to up in the formula bar as sum grocery table in brackets cost. If I want to sum this, the amount available, I can type equals sum grocery table, tab. Then we want a specific column, type of open bracket, go down to where it says available, hit tab, populates it, close the bracket, and then hit enter. And there you go, it's totaled these available amounts for me. So let's say we wanted to undo this as a table. How would we do that? We can highlight it, right click, go down to where it says table, and look here, it says convert to range. Do you want to convert the table to a normal range? Yes. Look, it's now no longer a table and no longer referred to in the name manager. Just to touch on tables a little bit. Note that tables can come in very handy when you're dealing with lookup functions and also other formulas. Feel free to play around with tables in this spreadsheet.